EVE Online is having its 20th anniversary. Dear lord, at this rate the game itself is becoming a boomer. And how it should be for any anniversary, there's also a lot of activities. There's actually 2. Okay, there's mainly one event which has 2 activities, but they pay really good, that's okay. And in today's video, I will show you how you can do the combat event relatively easily in a Ferox Navy issue either alone or with a friend. Meaning you don't need crazy skills and can still run these rather hard combat sites without having to sell your vital organs so you can afford yourself a Sleipnir or something. But playing alone in EVE sucks, so if you want to take part in an awesome community, fly fun ships, make some dank ISK and have genuinely a good time, with constantly people around you to hang out with. So come and join Suspect today and fight under the banner of our great supreme leader, me. So come and join our Discord today. Anyway, on with the video. Hey guys, it's me, I41. The anniversary event is in full swing and it turns out those event sites, they are really good, if you find one. But if you stick to low sec or null sec and just look around, you should find them. And get better loot than in high sec by quite a margin. So how does the event work? When you log in, you will get a pop-up telling you that there's an event ongoing and asking you to select a faction. This is a trap. It is the illusion of choice. Whichever faction you choose makes barely a difference. If you join the pirates, you will get skins for Gnosis, Praxis, Dramiel, Worm and Gila, as well as combat focus boosters, and will be asked to run SOCT sites. If you join SOCT, you will get skins for Gnosis, Praxis, Dramiel, Worm and Agila, as well as defense and scanning focus boosters, and will be asked to run the pirate sites. Regardless of what faction you join, you can still run both sites. It means you get some bonus stuff for completing the challenges. And since the skins are exactly the same, and the boosters are non-tradable, choose whichever you want. Also they are kind of very similar on what they give you. Now with the basic premise of the event out of the way, let's take a look at how you run the event. This event has a few things that you should consider before running it. The NPCs overly focus drones and will delete your drones instantly. You will need a good amount of tank, a simple caracal will not do it. Running it with a friend is easier than doing it solo. And there will be also a good chunk of energy neutralization going on, especially towards the end. All of the above is why I decided to go for Ferox Navy Issue. It is a tracking and damage bonus to medium high returns, a bonus to shield boost like capacitor usage and fitting space, meaning it is easier to fit it and cheaper to run it, and a good amount of default shield HP, meaning even if you get into a situation where your capacitor is close to running out, you still have a good amount of buffer to save you in both armor and hull as well. The fitting I made is basically a flying brick, with 2 cap batteries that give you plenty of energy neutering resistance. This means you can face tank the entire site without having to worry about transversal. While this fitting works technically for running it solo, I wouldn't suggest it. It is cheap and effective, but if you have a friend to run it with, it will do even better and even faster, so rather grab a friend for this. If you do not want to grab a friend and prefer to do it solo, I also linked a more expensive variant of this fit that will be able to do it solo 100%, but will also cost you a decent bit more, coming in at almost 700 million ISK. You can find both fits in the description of this video, as well as a list of suggested skills that you can copy in game. Just make sure you do have decent skills if you do want to take those sites on solo, maybe even a blue pill booster to make your shield boosting just that bit stronger, as they are very decently difficult. And by decently difficult, I mean I speak from experience here, trust me. But with the fit ready and maybe a second friend, how do we run the sites? How do we find them? To find the sites, you will need to undock and open your probe scanners. For that, just hit Alt and P. You can also separate the window and put it in the bottom left of your screen, just like me. There you will also see all anomalies in green as well as signatures you can scan. But we don't need to scan them, the combat sites are already pre-scanned. There's 2 types of combat sites, Guri Malakam sites and SOCT sites. You'll be able to recognize them by the name in the probe scanner. Both of them are very similar. They have heavy nude pressure, 2 rooms and a boss at the end that drops the loot. But they are also different. Grim Malakam sites have griffins that will jam you, meaning you have to kill those to break the jam. While SOCT sites have Stormbringers and Skybreakers, meaning your drones will die. In both sites you will find an inactive Stargate in the first room. To activate it, you need to clear out the room. Once you land it, you can already start heading there and shoot the NPCs while slowboating there. Especially if no prop mod, the Guri Malakam sites, with the gate being 60 km away from where you started, will take a fair seconds. In the first room, you will also only have 2 waves in total, so they are quite fast. In the second room, you will find no activation gate, as this is the final room. The SOCT sites have 2 waves and a third boss wave. The first boss wave will have multiple small ships, but you do not have to kill the small ships. You can just straight kill the boss, as the smaller ships will pop off as soon as the boss dies, and only the boss contains loot. In the Gurima-Lakim sites, you will have 4 waves and a 5th wave with just 1 boss. Again, once you kill the boss, he will drop the loot and you just have to pick it up. Both bosses deal high DPS, have high need pressure and prevent you from warping off, as well as web you. So make sure to heat your tank if you have to, and prevent dying from happening. That would be very bad. The Gurima-Lakim boss also has less hull and armor HP compared to the SOCT boss, who has the same tank across all 3 layers. Okay, so the sites themselves aren't too difficult. Only having the right ship and potentially have friend to run with are the only hurdle you have to overcome. But what about the loot? What do you want to do with it? The loot can be separated into 3 categories: apparel like clothing items, skins and even fireworks, boosters which have an expiry date set in July, and overseer effects as well as other trash loot like modules. Boosters you want potentially to sell as fast as you can, unless you want to use them due to their expiry date. Once they expire, they are worthless. Apparel is worth a lot quite often, but will drop in value due to a heavily inflated amount of them available due to the event. Here you have 2 choices. Sell them immediately, but potentially at a far lower value, or hold on to them for potentially over a year to have them go up in value, especially this is true for the rarer skins. Overseer effects you can just sell to NPC buyorders in high sec, and trash loot you can either reprocess for minerals or sell for ISK in high sec or wherever you live. But this is how you run the sites. Obviously you can use a Tengu or Sleipnir, but the Ferox Navy Issue is in my opinion the most accessible, easiest option for this event. Whatever you do, just remember the high need pressure and that you need to tank roughly 600 EHP per second in the last room. However, make sure to not forget about the challenges. They exist too. Even though they are optional, they still give you good additional loot which you can redeem. As entering the site, killing 10 NPCs inside of it, and killing the boss himself are separate stages, but will only be counted if you redeem the step beforehand, so don't forget to do that. There's also scanning data sites, which seem to spawn a lot more, but are even more RNG dependent than the normal sites, but are also more rookie accessible due to the main challenge being the minigame, not actual combat, and you can run them in a 2 million ISK ship compared to a 250 million ISK battlecruiser. But I am making a video on those 2, which should be uploaded very soon. If it is uploaded already, you should see it suggested to you in the top right now, unless I forget about it again. Anyway, this is all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe even check out my Patreon. But I'm curious, what is your experience of this event so far? Are you having fun? Did you get good loot? Will you run it solo, or will you take a friend along with yourself? Go ahead, tell me in the comments. This is all from me, and I hope to see you next time.